Hi everyone, it's Derek from the iReady podcast here, and this is my reaction to the 1-0 win against Dundee in the Premiership today. Other than not conceding a goal, I may as well edit in the post-match reaction from last week's game against Motherwell, because it was pretty much the same performance. 3 points, I suppose that's the main thing, but at the same time that was a dreadful performance once again from the team. And we were lucky not to concede a goal as well, and something is completely missing from this team just now. There's a lack of spark, a lack of inventiveness. The team are sadly lacking, and we are making too many defensive mistakes as well. I said to Dave on WhatsApp is last season every player fought for each other. Every position was covering for each position. We were defending from the front, and when the front made a mistake, the midfield were getting it. When the midfield were making the mistake, the defence were getting it, and so on and so on. And everybody was covering from each other. And this year, there is just this one key ingredient that's not working, because we're seeing the same lacklustre pedestrian performances time and time again. I know we got the 3 points, I know we won, and that is really, to be honest, all that should matter. However, we are going to come a cropper as we did last week, and we were lucky to get away with 3 points again today, because even after the penalty, there was no guile, there was no impetus to go and kill the game off and get a second goal. So a lot of things to work on. However, we made two changes from the game against Livingston. We lined up McLaughlin, Tavernier, Goldson, Balogun, Bassey, Lundstrom, Kamara, Aribo, Roof, Hadji and Morelos. On the subs bench, McGregor, Davis, Patterson, Wright, Bakuna, Sakala and Barisic. So in the first half, it was a very scrappy and pedestrian performance despite being 1-0 up, having a lot of the possession, but it's the usual situation where it comes to the final third. Granted, we were trying to be a little more inventive at times, but on the whole, we're still trying to find the perfect angle for the perfect shot. It needs to stop. That said, Dundee again were being compact as you would expect, but again, that's something that it's our onus to break down. At the back for us, we have been suspect. If Dundee had a proper striker, it might have been a different story, and they might have been a couple of goals ahead. Dundee's best chance came on the 13th minute. It was a long ball into our box from the right, a free header from 6 yards out by their attacker into the ground and gathered by McLaughlin at the second attempt. Was right at McLaughlin, so it'll probably go down as a bad miss rather than a good save, but again that leads into the fact that if they had a proper striker. However, we did go a goal up shortly after on the 17th minute with the only goal of the game, and it was Aribo scoring. More pressure and possession in the Dundee half. Tavernier gets the ball on the right side. He passes on the deck to Morelos in the centre at the edge of the box. A superb first time dink by Morelos to Aribo in the box on the right hand side, and Aribo passes it into the back of net coolly. Great goal, great link up play, one of the few really good passages of play we've done all day. We thought, being it relatively early in the game, and we had pretty much most of the possession, we would go and kick on from that, but it really just never happened. Couple of saves by the Dundee keeper to put it out for the corner, maybe a wee bit more Hollywood saves than needed to be. We got the corner out of it. At least we made the keeper make a couple of efforts though, but we needed that more clinical finishing there. Rather strangely, I don't know if there's been any reason for it, but for Dundee, Griffiths was subbed off on the 38th minute and Jason Cummins came on. I don't know if that was because he had picked up a wee knock or he had pulled something, I'll leave the jokes there, or it was just the abuse he was getting, but Jason Cummins came on, really needing a lot more into the second half, and we really never got it, I don't think. More or less a repeat of the first half, with the big difference being Dundee missed a penalty. Again, treating the game like it was a training session, with no inventiveness, no pace at all, lacking any willingness to kill the tie off, and we'd really done enough to get to the final third, and we had a lot of possession and then done nothing with it. Our best chance of the half came on the 55th minute with Lundstrom. It was a corner in from the left. The keeper pushed it away at the far post to prevent it going in, only as far as Goldson at the touchline, who passed it to Lundstrom at the edge of the box, who took a touch and then hit a curling effort, but it was saved by the keeper. A great effort there by Lundstrom. He was by far the best player in our team today, and he's now starting to come into a game, so that's the one positive you can really take from the game other than the 3 points. As usual, a lot of fans too quick to judge a player after a couple of games. Now he's actually starting to find his feet and you're seeing the qualities he brings, and he was, as I said, he was the only one that was, I wouldn't say trying today, because there was a lot of effort going in, but there was not a lot of product and there was not a lot of willingness to kill the tie off. And then we nearly came a cropper again, because on the 58th minute, those three words you don't like to hear, penalty to Dundee. A long ball was played up to the Dundee attacker. He gets goal side of Goldson. A half-hearted attempt to get the ball by Goldson, and McLaughlin comes out, dives at the attacker's feet and takes him out. Clear penalty and a yellow card, so certainly no arguments about the penalty. Once again, Goldson caught out with a long ball. Never happened last season because we prevented the long ball getting played in the first place, which ties back into what I said about defending from the front. We generally last season never let it get that far. It's a weakness in Goldson's game, and he was extremely poor again today, and he allowed the player to get goal side. It's unforgivable for a centre-back like that, especially with that type of ball, and it's not the first time it's happened this year. However, McLaughlin, as much as you can't really blame him for the penalty, it was last ditch and it shouldn't have even got to that, to be honest, but he totally redeemed himself because in the 59th minute Jason Cummins missed the penalty. Cummins puts it down the right down the middle. McLaughlin saved with his legs. The ball went up in the air. He tried to punch it away, but it goes up in the air again, and he managed to gather the ball on the third attempt. So great keeping there, well done, and dare say Lee Griffiths might have scored the penalty if he was still on, but thankfully that wasn't the case. And then it was clear that we were starting to wane. Dundee were starting to get in the ascendancy at that point, and we waited 7 minutes before we made any substitutions after that. Morelos came off and Sakala came on. Once again, I would have said we needed to make that substitution within the first 10 minutes of the second half if we never scored a second one. Once again, the management letting us down that way. Hadji came off and Wright came on shortly after. Dundee had an effort on the 78th minute just wide a goal, and then in the 81st minute Roof came off and Bakuna came on, and that's how the game ended out. Well after the final whistle as well, the Dundee manager got sent off for remonstrating with the referee. I don't know what's happened there. No doubt we'll find out in due course. He'll have some issues and something to say to the media about that, but maybe he's not happy at the fact that Dundee Gordon Strachan got on to Celtic Gordon Strachan, who got on to Peter Lowell, who got on to the SPFL, who said that the referee was going to allow them to win the game. I don't know, but we'll wait and see there. However, as I said, 3 points. I suppose that's the thing that you can really take out of it. We go now into the next game, which is away against Sparta Prague on Thursday night, which is going to be a difficult game, no doubt. We need to play a hell of a lot better than we have in the last couple of games. We'll just need to wait and see what happens there. So Dave and I probably won't be back with another podcast this week, but you can go and get all the other stuff that we do at the usual podcast channels and our social media, as well as our website, which is ireadypodcast.wordpress.com. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.